Here we have yet another Asus laptop, a newer model laptop that came in for no power, one power on. Model number is G513QY. And before we go on to read the ticket, I just want to show you the laptop. The board looks something like this. It's a newer model laptop. We remove the back cover and we're going to see if we can figure it out from the side of the board. If not, then I will ask Big Boss to remove the whole board. And the customer wrote, I was playing Cyberpunk when the whole system crashed. It went completely dead, no charging light or fans, nothing. I did have a local shop open it and inspect it. They found the motherboard was receiving power, but nothing occurring after that. They did not look into it further. They are unable to provide micro soldering services and suggested I ask you about repair. All right, so hopefully we can fix the laptop for the customer. I worked on an Acer Predator yesterday and the customer was referred to us by another shop also, but unfortunately we were not able to help out the customer. Hopefully we are able to help out this customer. The first thing I want to do is look at the DC connector right here. And we should have our MOSFETs right there. I want to measure for a short the drain of the second one, or we can go for the current sense resistor. So the current sense resistor is right next to this one. So we're going to go for this MOSFET right here. And do we have a short? Oh, ho, ho. Look at this. We have a short circuit at the current sense resistor. If we measure in resistance mode, that short, 0 ohm short. You should never get a 0 ohm short on a current sense resistor. One more time. Let's measure at the drain. And we have a short circuit. What do we do when we have a short circuit? We're going to use our NF.short voltage injection tool. And we're going to set voltage to 1.4. All right. Ground probe, we're going to connect it right here. USB connector. And we're going to touch the probe on the short. And then we're going to monitor the board under a thermal camera and see if we see anything obvious, if anything gets hot. All right, so let's see. We're going to inject voltage at the drain or at the current sense resistor. And we'll see what happens. 1, 2, and 3. And I see something right over here. Probably a V-core MOSFET. DR MOS, and Asus are notorious for having issues with DR MOSes. So coil number 1, coil number 2, coil number 3, right under it. The problem is right under coil number 3, 1, 2, 3, right here. That's the bad guy. Say hello to the bad guy. I was working on an iPad where I installed a Barlow lens on the microscope. I do not need it anymore. And that's a 0.75x Barlow lens. I wanted to see more on the board. So right now I do not need it. Sometimes I need the Barlow lens if I'm soldering a big connector on the board. Let's say a 70-pin connector, and I want to see the whole connector on the board. So in order to raise the microscope up higher off the board and see more, we have to install a Barlow lens. Otherwise the microscope is not going to be able to focus. So which DR MOS is that? Do we have it in stock? Probably the SIC 632 or 638, right? 651. 651 we do not have. And I never had to use a 651 before. But it looks like they are using a 651 on this model laptop. It's a newer laptop. Probably around $2,000. Yeah, 651. What is the difference between 638 and 651? They should both be 50 amps. So if you look here at 638, minimum input voltage 2.7, maximum input voltage 24, current 50, switch frequency max 1500. And if we look at 651, We have 2.5 minimum input voltage. Over there it's 2.7. 24 max, 50 amps, and switch-in frequency is 2000 compared to 1500. That should not be a big deal. We do not have SIC 651. We can order and wait for it if we can find it. But I think going for 638 will work out just as good. Let's go ahead and desolder the MOSFET. And we did not remove the motherboard of the laptop. The motherboard is still in the laptop, so we have to be careful not to burn any plastic on that laptop. Why spend the time to remove the board if we can do the job while the board is still in the laptop? Work smart and not hard. The MOSFET is out. And now we're gonna check for a short and see if we still have it. Do we still have a short? That's the question. If we measure at the current sense resistor, we still have a short. Why? I have no idea. Did we desolder the wrong MOSFET? Is that possible? Oh, wait a minute. Was this like that before? Okay, maybe we have an issue here. Let me go back to the video. I want to see how that component was like. I do not know how that happened, but it did. All right, so I looked at what I recorded, and this component should be right here. Maybe it's causing a short because it's touching the cap. Right, so let's check for a short again. Meter in diode mode, and we still have a short. Okay, so we still have a short circuit, and it's very possible that we removed the wrong MOSFET. We're gonna have to check under the thermal camera again, but we're gonna have to wait for the board to cool down a bit, because right now if we inspect under the thermal camera, everything is gonna look hot because we applied heat onto this area. And we're gonna inject voltage. And right now, nothing else is getting hot on the board. Right? 0.2 amps is being drawn, but I do not see heat anywhere else on the board. And this here is cool because we have alcohol on this pad, the MOSFET that we removed. That's why it looks cooler than the rest of the board, because I applied alcohol onto this area of the board. What if we increase voltage by a tiny bit, and we're gonna try to inject voltage again? I see something hot right next to the blue spot, right here. See? You have to have eyes like a hawk. Otherwise, you're gonna miss it. Right here. I do not know what's here. Nothing. One more time. Maybe heat is coming from back of the board and not from the front. Yeah, I think heat is coming from back of the board. So we're gonna have to disassemble the board and look at the back. So I'm gonna ask Big Boss to disassemble the board, and we'll take it from there. I saved the 651 chip. We may have to put it back, or maybe that chip is faulty. I don't know, we'll see. But for now, I need the board disassembled, because if you look under the microscope, there's nothing here. Look at this, there's nothing here. Resistor cannot short, and I don't think this capacitor is shorting to ground. I just do not see it. It may measure as a short, but I do not think that's the problem. Yeah, it's not measuring for a short, and resistors do not short. It has to be back of the board, or possibly this DR MOS right here. I'll be back. All right, so we disassembled the board, and I got the board right here. So the MOSFET, the DR MOS that we desoldered is right over here. Something is getting hot from back of the board. So if we go to back of the board, right here, we are looking at this area. Let's go under the microscope. Look at this. Can you tell where the problem is? I see a discolored cap. You see it? Right here. That may be the problem. What we can do is we can put a drop of alcohol in this spot, and then I can flip the board, inject voltage at the current sense resistor, and monitor this area and see where alcohol is evaporating. Maybe we can do that. I mean, it's very obvious the cap is bad, but let's see it on camera. See? Alcohol is evaporating off this cap first. Look. You see? We still have alcohol everywhere else except for the damaged cap. I'm going to apply alcohol to all the caps. All right. Hot tweezers to the rescue. And maybe the help of hot air. It's a big capacitor. Out. And now we're going to check again. Do we still have a short? We're going to check right here. Wow. The short is gone. 0.36 voltage drop. Amazing. We got rid of the short. Now, I do not know if the DR MOS that we removed is good or not, but we're going to put it back. Hopefully the chip is good, and all we have to do is replace the capacitor, and we should be back in business. Let's put that DR MOS back. And what I like about this board, or the design of this board, is that DR MOS chips are far away from each other. They're not so tight or so close. Is it possible that Asus cares about the repairman this time and age? I don't think so. Now we're going to apply solder right here. Let it solder. And we do not have the anti-glare light on. And that is the reason why you're seeing all those reflections. Let's try the anti-glare light on. Done. Amazing. And the triangle should be on top. Good. Right, and we're all done. Better than factory, right? Beautiful. But now we're gonna check for a short again in case this DR MOS is causing a short. Who knows? Maybe we have a faulty DR MOS and a capacitor. So we're gonna go back to the current sense resistor right here, and we're gonna measure again for a short. And we do not have a short. Awesome. So the chip is good. All we have to do is replace the capacitor on the back and test. Now, Big Boss left for the day, but I'll do the honor of reassembling the motherboard and testing. I do not want to go home before we test the motherboard, and it's almost time to go home. And I have a cap right over here. And we are done. So the whole problem ended up being a faulty capacitor. Right now I'm gonna have to reassemble the board, and I'll be back in 5-10 minutes. Let me pause the video. All right, so I'm back. I reassembled the board, not fully. I did not put the fans on. I just put the heatsink, and I connected a few cables, the screen, the hard drives, the stick of RAM, and we'll see. I also got a charger, so we're gonna try it together. I did not power on the laptop yet. I do not know if there's any power left in the battery on this laptop. Maybe we should do that first. But I need to hold the motherboard because everything is gonna fall back out if I do not hold the board. Maybe I'll do it like this from the heatsink. Why not do it like this? Yes, yes. Keyboard lit up, but we want to see something on the screen. Look at that. Wow. Amazing. Customer is going to be very happy. One expensive laptop, and the whole laptop stopped powering on because of one capacitor. Wow. The heatsink is getting warm. Actually hot, not warm. Fans are not installed, so we're going to have to shut the computer off before it overheats. Yeah, the heatsink, I can feel the heat on the heatsink. I can feel it. Fans are needed. Let me see if I can shut off the laptop before I burn my hand. Race against time. Ouch. Ouch. We have to take it like a man. One burned hand. Who cares, right? That's why we have two hands. That heatsink was hot. All right, so we did it. We did it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think. Leave it down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll do something else in the next video. I'm gonna put this on Big Boss's bench, and he can finish the reassembly tomorrow. We'll invoice and mail this back to the customer. If the customer is a viewer of the channel, he'll probably see this laptop today or in tomorrow's video, and he's gonna be happy.